1 year from now, our goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers.
So my 1 year goal is that running at a run rate of $1 million MRR.
To build a team where I can proudly say that I've created millionaires for team members that has worked together with me.
My short-term goal is actually to start a movement, and my long-term goal is to make it international.
Here's the build-up here. It's just in life, we got goals, we got timelines, and we got actions. You don't wander into success. You usually wander into chaos, and so you got to know where you're going. So my question is, pick a meaningful timeline. That could be 3 months. Maybe you're thinking like, okay, this is by the end of the year, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. Whatever's meaningful to you. And within that constraint, I want to hear you call your shot. Where are you heading? What are you doing?
Yeah, man. So we started a new agency. I started with my dad doing chiropractic. We've grown that to multi-seven figures, team of 20 plus. That's killing it. And don't tell my dad this, I'm just not super passionate about chiropractors. I was serving at a church pretty heavily, doing our own like Facebook ads and stuff, and it was killing it. And so then I had my pastor refer one of his buddies to us, and they referred people. And so we've got Chiro Candy, and now we have Church Candy. And I officially started about a year ago, and today we have about 50 clients.
That's so cool.
And what's crazy is I set a goal to get to 50 clients by the end of the year, and it is October, and we hit that goal.
Dude.
So, that in itself is amazing, but I would love to, see us at seven figures, or at least a seven-figure run rate, this time next year would be phenomenal.
So crossing 84K per month in a year's time.
Yeah, that's the goal, man.
I love it.
I feel like a lot of people, especially in this industry, they start an agency, they hear about HighLevel, they do all of this, and they end up creating a job. And like I don't want to own a job. I want to own a business.
Sure.
And that's why I'm really big on building a team and like delegate. That way I don't have to do it. I want to ask you something. I've always wanted to ask you.
Yes.
This. You guys, your product with HL Pro Tools, and the price that you have it at, and the quality of service that how and why do you have that priced so low?
Sure.
When you could definitely charge 2 to 3 times what you guys are.
Yeah.
But you don't. Why
do we do that?
Why is it too good? It's not too good to be true because it is true. But like, why is it what is it? Alex Ramosi says in his $100 million offer.
It's an offer that's so good you feel silly.
Stupid. Yeah, you're gonna feel stupid saying no.
Yep.
To HL Pro Tools.
Yeah. So why do we do that? So part of it for us. There are cool businesses, I can't think of any right now, where there was a huge opportunity out of recycled waste. I'm trying to think of I learned this, I was visiting in Arizona, and what they did is they recycled used tires into the roads, and it made the roads softer, right? And I'm sure there was a middle broker right there who was like, hey, I'm going to sell garbage to the city to improve their product.
Yeah.
Now, how much does he need to price garbage at, right? Not a lot. It was literally going to be sitting in a dump heap. So he's like, okay, I just need, to cover the cost of like transporting this and like have a reasonable profit on top of that. So for us, when this kicked off and initiated, we have a team. I talk about this too. It's an amazing thing that deficits create opportunities. And one of my skill sets is I am self-aware. And so then at least I aspire to that. I try to be really self-aware, and so that means I'm very self-aware of my deficits. I have a lot of deficits, and so therefore I have a big team, right? And so that big team usually and also for us, the motivation is I don't want folks constantly hating their jobs, and so we build in margin. Margin's a big thing for us, but so sometimes I don't want people to be lazy, so it's a fancy thing where it's like, hey, I'm going to expect you to work 30 hours per week, basically. I'm going to give you 30 hours worth of work to do. I'm going to pay you for 40. We're on the same page. We want to work 40 hours. Like, that's the exchange. That's why it's kind of the known agreement there. But I'm not going to, it's going to be kind of like free space. That might be creative. That might be innovative. That might be improving, stuff like that. So that was what we had built up and where we're standing at. And so now imagine I was like, hey, what if we spent your extra 10 hours a week doing support on this stuff for folks? Like, that sounds good. That's cool. Like, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
You know what my additional cost was? Zero.
Yeah.
I was already paying for it, right? I was recycling what I already had, and so that's a little bit of, that's how we kicked into it, and still kind of keep in that space. So we do HL Pro Tools exists because we have 3 other brands.
Yeah. Okay.
So this could not, and it's a funny thing too. It's like, this is why it's very hard or nearly impossible to actually compete with us. If people try to go toe to toe, they can't because it actually doesn't work. You have to be basically making money somewhere else to subsidize and justify this kind of a pricing structure.
We've got a couple different products that are subscription-based products at $100 a month, and 1 year from now, our goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Where are you guys at right now? Can you say?
150.
150. Okay.
I think we can do more than that. Whether or not in a year, I guess we'll see. We'll know a lot in a few months. The 150 we've achieved has been over the last 45 days. So 1,000 shouldn't really be too ridiculous. Maybe we need to think bigger. Help me out here.
That's awesome. No, I love it. Okay, so what are the actions you're taking now to ensure that happens?
Well, right now we had a decent customer base, so we knew we were going to get off to a fast start, and that part wasn't super difficult. And we still have more of that we can tap into, but not big enough to get us to 1,000. So the actions that we are doing now, and why I'm here and why I'm networking, doing all kinds of different things, is just how do we do more lead gen that starts producing those leads that we need in month 3, 4, 5 after we've worked through our current database, our current list.
Right now, what we're focusing on in some of the goals that we have and that we want to really expand, build on for the next year is our affiliate program, and then our ERTC program. So that's the Employee Retention Tax Credit. We do also do green energy tax credits and R&D tax credits, but the ERTC is time sensitive, so we're really, putting a lot of effort into that. So I'm going to get to those numbers real soon. So we've done about 2,000 cases in the past 2 years of ERTC. So it's for businesses, that were impacted by COVID, but that maintain W-2 employees throughout. So the goal is not to expand that for the next year because this is, as I mentioned, it's time sensitive. So there are less and less businesses that can have access to it. So we just want to maintain for the next year. We're averaging out about 60 contracts, so 60 deals per month, at about 750 meetings with our 12 BDs and 5 full-time inside salespeople. So we just want to keep that going. Even though the market is getting saturated more and more. So it's going to get harder, but we think we can keep it up for the next year. The other goal that I would like to talk about or share or put myself on the spot for is our affiliate program. So and there's 2 reasons we're here at the summit. So first one being, and frankly, it honestly is the only, the first reason, the most important one, is I'm just geeked out about the system. I love it. I want to be part of the community. It's awesome. I saw you at TCS too. It's like, okay, I gotta meet these people again. But yeah, the second one is our affiliate program where businesses can refer businesses to us. So if someone knows a business that was impacted by COVID or potentially, our tagline, our grab is give 150K, get 3K commission, right? So it's easy commissions. It's not recurring like you would get with GHL affiliates or whatnot. But it's really appealing because if let's say you refer a business to us, you're helping them get free money basically, and then you're getting a kickback. And for agencies, it's like, well, they can use the money to buy your services. We hit 250 affiliates at 2:07 a.m. the first night that I got here.
Wow.
So that was like one of our first milestones, right?
That's awesome.
And so our goal is within the next 3 months, just double that. And then within the next 12 months, get that up to 2,000.
One of my biggest goals for the last 6 months was be the #1 affiliate ever for that month. Obviously, they do it every month. And so I finally did it. I finally beat my buddy, Jason Wardrop. Just talked to him earlier today.
Congrats.
Amazing. Just met him earlier today. And I finally was #1. So that was a huge life goal that I did not think I would hit that fast. That was a 6-month goal. I did it in 6 months. And but I already hit that one. So now we got to talk about new goals and new things to do. And so I actually just made a YouTube video about this. So what am I going to do in the future? I just hit #1. Like, what do I do now? What's the next goal? The next goal for me, and putting a monetary goal on it is nice because then you can actually know if you hit it. And so for me, it was 1,000 SaaS pros. I want 1,000 SaaS pro affiliates. I want to teach 1,000 people how to be good at SaaS. And so that was one that I put on that YouTube video, and even Kelsey just reached out and she's like, just watch your video. That's a crazy goal, but I really think if anybody can do it, it's you. And I'm like, man, if you would have asked me that 6 months ago, that would have not been my goal. There's no way. I was trying to get 10, so to get 1,000, for that to be my goal, whether that's in 1 year or 2 years or however long, hopefully around the 1-2 year mark, judging from how many I'm getting every single month, is definitely possible. And it's just getting bigger. Obviously, if you're scaling a business, you're adding more money into ads and everything else. Your next month should always be bigger and better. So that's what you should be shooting for, and that's what I'm shooting for. 1,000 SaaS Pro affiliates. You heard it here first.
Why?
Why 1,000?
Yeah, why 1,000? Why that goal? Why SaaS?
Very clean number, but also, but also, I think with 1,000, I kind of do it I love numbers. I'm a big numbers guy. So I saw where ClickFunnels was, like how big it got, and I'm not by any means a veteran. I never did ClickFunnels, but I saw where it got. I saw how many users it got, and I'm like, geez, that's a lot of users. And HighLevel, although it's amazing, and I think they're the greatest company ever, they were nowhere close. They're still nowhere close to what ClickFunnels was able to do.
Less than a tenth.
Not even close. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, if HighLevel does what I think it's going to do and what everybody here thinks it's going to do, 1,000 is not a bad goal to have. No chance. And so 1,000 for me is something that I can actually obviously live off of. But it's something. It's such a ridiculous but also attainable goal in the same sense. If HighLevel scales at the same pace that I'm trying to scale and at the same pace that everybody wants it to, then 1,000 is definitely a solid goal. And not that I don't want to go over 1,000. Once again, the monetary value of 1,000 SaaS Pro is $200,000 a month. That's crazy. I'm 26 years old. And that's just an unbelievable, life-changing number. I can get into real estate. We can talk about that. I really want to get into real estate. I have my own construction company. If you watch my videos, you know that I have my own construction company. I have machines and stuff like that. And they're not cheap. So having just a kind of a random stream of income to come in and kind of fund all those different physical things that I'm trying to do would be it's life-changing stuff. I have no plans on slowing down at all. So that's definitely that's the reason I think 1,000. There's no other specific reason on 1,000 other than it's a clean number and I like it.
What are you doing right now to make sure that happens?
Well, I'm here, but also, this is my first time kind of meeting people in person. Once again, my story. I got big on TikTok. I was one of the first to ever actually researched if any high-level people were doing TikTok, and it was 2 or 3. There weren't many views on it, maybe 100, 200 views. The hashtag HighLevel was just nowhere to be found. I even asked HighLevel, and they were like, no, they were kind of afraid of TikTok. They were like, we saw our competitors do it, and they got killed, and everyone was saying it was a fraud, and the comment sections on TikTok are rough. I found that out the hard way, but that's TikTok is by far 100% the reason that I'm right here, right now, if you didn't know. So I plan on taking TikTok to the next level. I'm glad to say that Jason Wardrop started TikTok because of me. I know Billie Jean started TikTok after I started doing it. I don't know if it had any correlation to what I did, but he started doing it after me. And I really hope that SaaS people start doing it, SaaSpreneurs start doing TikTok. It is by far the best way to get affiliates, to get clients. I get clients from my TikTok talking about the affiliate program. People are like, yeah, Dom, but how are we supposed to get clients? You get affiliates. And I'm like, no, I don't. And so finally I couldn't take it anymore for my group. I have a pretty big Facebook group. I took a screenshot of back-to-back comments that said, I own a roofing company. And then right under that, I own a power washing company. How do I get this from my company? 2 back-to-back clients that wanted to be clients of my SaaS right in an hour, and just from TikTok, where I wasn't even talking about, that. I was talking about the HighLevel, affiliate program. So it's absolutely insane. If anyone tells me they can't they can't utilize TikTok for any of these reasons on HighLevel, they're crazy. So that's a huge goal of mine, is to take TikTok to the next level, get people on it for the right reasons, for business reasons, and it's game over. I mean, that's where it's going. YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Reels, all these things.
Where I'd like to be is less client fulfillment and more SaaS. It's been about 2 years, so I'm giving myself 3 more years.
Okay.
But I would like it to happen quicker than that.
Okay, 3 more years, and how many SaaS clients?
I have about 80.
Okay, you have 80 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, this is fun. We're kind of at so let's pick a timeline to cross that 100 mark.
Oh, absolutely. So the 100 mark is by the end of the year.
End of the year, okay.
Yep.
I love that. So why are you doing SaaS? Why are you focusing on this goal?
Well, after years and years of doing fulfillment for agencies, it's pretty tough. It's up and down. There's a lot of churn. So I want my time back, and I want to do better work. I want to do quicker, faster fulfillment for the clients. Less of the getting in the weeds, but more of the real help what I call the nerd work, in the background.
What are the actions you're doing today to ensure that happens?
So making sure I got here, staying organized each day. Each day I make, the proverbial, the to-do list, and just keep moving the ball forward and staying out of the things that don't move the ball forward.
Yeah, awesome. So clarity around each day, what you're doing, what you're focusing on.
That's right.
The numbers, that's like a means to an end.
Yeah.
For me, it's kind of like, well, what do I want to accomplish in these lifestyle goals?
Yeah.
I want to be able to be there for all my son's wrestling practice, all my daughter's swimming practice. I want to do X, Y, and Z. And so I basically have my schedule around all these life goals, right?
Yeah.
So again, what's my big thing here? My big thing here is like I want to continue to be able to spend time with the people I love without restriction. Come to an event like this, not worry about, I am a dentist. I wasn't sure if we said that there, but I'm a dentist. So again, not having to deal with spit and saliva and stuff like that, and hang out with cool people like you, man, whenever I want.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
If I said, what's your goal? It's like, my goal is to join the gym. And you'd be like, is that really your goal? And be like, well, no, I guess I want to be fit. And you're like, yeah, exactly. The gym or whatever it is was just the tool
exactly
to get you there. But that wasn't the destination at all. It was always like, I want to be fit. It's not join the gym. Is there a timeline within that?
I live by 90 days, right?
Okay,
so
yeah.
everything is built off 90 days.
Cool.
And the thing is that it's good to have like a really big stretch goal.
Yeah.
But you got to put all the increments in, right? So I was at an event and I heard Darren Hardy speak. Just amazing, right? Just amazing. And the thing is, it's all the little things that you do every day that adds up to this big thing. You go into the gym and you're like, okay, I want to get a six-pack, right? And you're going to go there and you're going to work out for 1 week and you don't get the six-pack. You're like, to hell with this, I'm out of here, right? But in reality, it's like, dude, you got to do it like every single day. So for me, you can have a big goal, but if you just focus on that big goal and not have all the little bitty things that add up in between, you're not going to get there. So 90-day plan is, again, it's a tried and true concept. That's what I live by. I do that not only with my business, but also my personal life too. So again, like I want my son to do this certain move in wrestling, right? And I'm like, okay. So we're going to work on all these little moves. We're going to add up to it. We're going to do it over 90 days and eventually you're going to get there. So as far as timeline, that's what I have for that, but not just for business, it's for life as well.
What are the actions you're taking to make sure that happens?
You got to make sure that you have like the right people around you, right? You once you get to that CEO level, you're really just kind of managing all the relationships. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's just to continue to level up my team. Obviously, getting to the event space, I got to get people who are really good at those things. I can make the connections, right? I can schmooze with everybody, but it's like the operations, the logistics, all those things. That's what's next.
Call your shot. Where are you heading?
Call my shot. Right now at Seven-Figure Agency, we're going to $10 million per year over the next 5 years.
Okay, $10 million per year. And so what are the actions that you're taking today that are going to make that happen?
A lot of actions. Running promotional events, publishing books. We're trying to create new content on how to land clients, how to deliver world-class results, how to retain your clients at the highest level possible, putting that into live event experiences where you can actually implement and get it done, and then just helping agencies grow and scale to the next level.
So I'm running a LinkedIn agency.
Yeah.
And I'm 2 years in. It's been growing. It's evolving. So my 1 year goal is that running at a run rate of $1 million MRR. What we do on LinkedIn is we get people known before they're needed.
Known before they're needed.
And you can't take that one. I got a book coming out, Known Before You're Needed.
Love it. Okay, you heard it here first. When's the book coming out?
Oh, now you're going to hold me to a timeline. You just did one in a week.
Call your shot.
All right, so I'm first step is I'm applying for a TED Talk.
Okay.
My client gets people on TED Talks, and he's been on 7 of them.
People listening to this right now are probably thinking, $1 million a month? That feels astronomical. Like for most folks, like $1 million a year. I mean, really, the mass of folks that are working jobs like $100,000 a year. Maybe you got a business, you've seen a little bit, you're like maybe $1 million a year, and you're talking $1 million a month. What are the actions you're taking today to make sure that happens?
I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
So scale sales and get myself out. And the model is fairly easy because the people that need help on LinkedIn is an unlimited. I call it's 10 lifetimes worth of customers.
My life's philosophy is that I think we never really know where we're going to end up. And for that reason, I believe that for business, planning is so important, and that's why we need to have like somebody in place to implement like the people, the processes, in order to make that happen.
What are those things then that you're doing in terms of, it feels like it's more actions. There's probably going to be a common theme of things that you said, maybe is like a repetition daily, or things that you kind of do keep in mind so that you make sure that you're more likely to achieve a destination that was desirable in the first place.
The progression has always been like, when I first started out, I just wanted to speak. And then it became like, oh, I want to be able to speak internationally. Oh, I would like to be able to speak in a room of 1,000 people. Oh, I'd like to be able to share a stage with Tony Robbins. So it's just this, I'm just constantly stretching that goal into that, like, the next thing, I guess.
Your background was video games, right?
Yeah, that's
and
how.
And I know this event is all leveling up, but a lot of it feels like that, right? You get to a level and you're like, well, what's the next level? Like because if you enjoy playing the game, you kind of want to get to another boss, right? Or whatever it is. You want to get to an increased difficulty. Is that kind of what it feels like for you?
It's very interesting that you say that, because being a real nerd in computer games, like there was a point in time when I wanted to make gaming like my profession, right? And when you think about like some games like World of Warcraft, which is my background, these games can be really addictive. There were times in my life when I would just wake up, sleep at whatever time. It could be 4 in the morning, it could be 10 in the morning, where I didn't know what month it would be, and I just did that day in, day out, 15 hours a day. And many times it wasn't because it was fun. After a while it became this grind, and it's an addiction.
Wow.
And I think all I did was I reframed it so that life and business became that obsession instead. And that's how I managed to make it so that like business is still another game. I want to be able to build a team where I can proudly say that I've created millionaires for team members that has worked together with me. That's my goal now. Sometimes we give ourselves that label like, oh, but I'm just a chiropractor, but I'm just whatever, a gym owner, right? And many times people give themselves that label that based on that occupation without realizing that the business that we're really in is in the business of marketing that business. That's the business that we're really in.
Wow. Man, that's good. Yeah, and this is so true to it. If you have an amazing product, but you hide it in the woods, it doesn't matter. And a big determiner of how far you'll go, how big you'll get, is how good you are at connecting people to whatever the goods and service is, which is exactly what marketing comes down to.
I want to bring my parents from Cuba over to the U.S. within 1 year.
Love it.
That's my personal goal for the next year. It is my life goal to give back to them as much as possible. So that's going to be my personal goal. And then in business, we're actually operating on really short timelines.
Okay. Yeah.
We have fast moving things.
Sprints, if you will.
Sure. So in business, Chat HQ pretty much is growing at its own pace, and discovery is going great. What I'm heavily invested this week is in getting the high-level developer community to come together and start building together. And that can be either software libraries that we can all contribute to and have it be open source, or processes, or design systems. Very selfishly, because I want developers to stop breaking Chat HQ by adding JavaScript to agencies. So I want them to save time building. I want to enable developers to build faster and get built-in best practices.
Yeah.
And then in the process, make it easier for me to support my customers.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's all good. I love it. Okay, so this is something interesting for me too as well. A lot of times in business, you collapse those time frames and you stack those wins, right? I think that's a phenomenal one. Well, then what are the actions you're taking? What are the things you're doing to make that happen?
So the first thing is Quentin Newman from Capri, Tom Bristol, and I hosted a developer meetup yesterday at 4:15.
Yeah.
I was expecting there to be 10, maybe 20 people. Over 150 people showed up.
That's phenomenal.
And that was developers searching for community and coming to learn about how we do things, but also agencies coming to see, hey, what's up? These guys are building stuff. I've seen you guys build stuff and talk about the things that you've built.
Yeah.
I want to do what you've done. Where do I go and find a developer that can do what you've done? Or how do I become someone who can build what you've built? So I see a community forming around extending high level that I really, really, really like. Zoom made it big with the pandemic, and then they opened up their developer platform, and they created a fund to invest in companies building for the Zoom API.
Because they boomed pandemic, and they did the right thing. They opened up because they knew there was no way they would be as connected. Basically, it becomes a free market thing, right? There's so many extensions now in Zoom, and it created stickiness for Zoom.
Yes.
But you have to open it up.
Here's the idea. When the telephone was invented, the value of the telephone as a system was two. Two people had a telephone. And today, we could not live without what the telephone invention enabled later. It's a multiplying network effect. Marketplaces have multiplying network effects. Companies who capitalize on it, that is one of the best business models for the 21st century.
I know.
So my long-term goal is usually 18 months.
Cool.
And my short-term goal literally is this month.
Okay.
I believe everything works off of momentum. So anything you want to go for, start it today. Write yourself a letter, make that phone call, send that email. It can be the smallest of things to get to where you want. I'm trying to start a movement where we actually start supporting each other. And I'm at a stage in my life, and I don't know where it came from, I really don't, but I just started to get kind of violent about the way that we are with each other. But I just get pissed off with the way that we won't actually support each other. We'd rather ridicule, tear each other down, laugh at each other. But on the flip side, everyone we revere has had stupid goals and gone for them. Elon Musk is there going, I'm going to disrupt banking. I'm going to go to the moon. I'm going to build cars. And he's had no credibility or experience with any of those things, yet we revere him. But if your mate turns around and says, hey, I'm going to do this, we laugh too quickly at people's goals and desires. So my short-term goal, which I have started, is to challenge and almost get in the face of those idiots that will actually laugh at people and get people to dare to go for ridiculous goals. So my short-term goal is actually to start a movement, and my long-term goal is to make it international.
Why?
I'm not happy with the way the world's going, and I'm just recognizing that cancerous attitude, and I'm seeing it, or it came to real fruition and visibility during COVID. The time when we should all have been connecting with each other, holding each other, going, Matt, are you okay? Look, these are tough times. How was it treating you? In a time when we were unified, for the only time, not in our life, in history, that the entire planet was consumed with the same issue, we decided to invent something called cancel culture and a gotcha society. We would rather find a video of what someone did, like 10 years ago, plug it up on TikTok and just rip the shit out of them. And literally pulling statues and pedestals down for what was done back then. And I just thought to myself, this, you can't whitewash it and it'll all be good. You need to confront things. And I think rather than us going, oh, he said something bad, let's not talk to him again. Let's get to the root of the problem. Let's talk more to him to understand why he thinks that. Hey, we're having tough conversations here. Black Lives Matter, Asian hate, Me Too. All of these are conversations we need to have, but because we're scared of saying something wrong and having this cancelled, we don't say anything. And it was starting to piss me off.
What are the actions you're doing right now to make sure that happens?
Well, as you know, I've got a book, okay? Yeah, I make money off the book, but I'm trying to create the movement around the book so people can use that as the credibility. I'm doing a lot more speaking gigs. I'm doing a lot more podcasts like I am now. I'm trying to get people to literally look at the table that they are sitting at.
I would just say the number that comes to mind is 1,000 clients or 10 million.
or 10
revenue.
million. Yeah, either way.
One of those things, and that's like
They're nice round numbers.
Yeah, and honestly I don't like reach out and like force selecting a number. It's not like driven by like motivation or like the mountaintop.
Yeah.
It's like that's what comes to me intuitively, because like as I've worked on myself internally, I don't sit down and do a lot of that anymore. I just kind of like focus on the next step in front of me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not worried about 10 million. I'm really worried right now about like 2.5 or 3 million.
Yeah.
Because that's really that next step for most like agency owners and consultants and coaches, where like at that scale you need to start building the team. And that right now is my biggest bottleneck. So I'm like, let's just get to this stage right now, because that's the next step, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as like where this thing goes from bigger picture, it's like 1,000 is something that feels right to me.
Yeah.
You know?
What are you thinking for timeline?
I can see us being at 1,000 clients by the end of next year.
Okay.
Because we pretty much doubled year over year doing this.
Yeah.
And then there's actually it's a little bit more than it's like, and as we uncork little bottlenecks here and there, it seems like that rate also picks up a little bit, right?
Yeah. There is a exponential factor.
Exactly. It's a little bit parabolic, right? Yeah. So that's what we're seeing is it's like a little bit more than doubling each year. And as we open up new things and, you know, being here at the event, you know, picking up on what some other people are doing, it's definitely inspired me to maybe make some moves on some things that I've, you know, not considered or maybe talked myself out of in the past as far as other revenue streams that we can lean into.
Oh yeah, you guys don't sell by webinar. You sell by call.
We sell by call. Yeah, it's a call funnel right now. Yeah.
My focus is family. So, and I think I'd say family because once you start rooting everything out of that, then all your priorities just kind of shift towards either, I mean, you start from personal growth, and from personal growth comes business growth and everything else, I think, and making other people happy. So we're about to have a baby, so that's
congrats.
Literally,
that's awesome.
In front of my. So
is this first?
It's the first.
Man, that's a big one.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
I've been hearing that.
I'll tell you. So I mean, this is we're just talking this anyways, but for me, I've heard this before and it resonated with me. Is that you could be said that maybe the most important thing you do isn't something that you do; it's someone that you raise. And I think the idea of being a parent is such a significant thing. So I take it very seriously. Seems like you take it seriously. It is a significant thing. Give us a little just background into you. Who do you serve? How do you serve them?
So we serve marketers, agencies, and basically brands that want to scale their content creation. And we help them by doing all of their graphics, all of their videos, all of their high-level landing pages, WordPress landing pages. And we do it really quickly. We do it between 12 to 72 hours, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
That's awesome. And if someone's feeling judged by the idea of content creation because they're not as good at content creation, what would you tell them?
Right. So that's like one of the biggest bottlenecks, right? And I've been having conversations with people. They're like, oh, I have all these things that I want to do, but I struggle with coming up with topics to talk about. So I can see how there's something that people like me have a responsibility on and start to give ideas to people, because it's not that hard. I think people have a little bit of like how do you call that? A scenic fear, how do you call that? Stage fear? Stage fright?
Yeah.
Just to be on the camera. But like I'm doing it right now, I just basically focus on you. I know there is a camera here, but it's not that hard. Mostly when you make it conversational. So I know a lot of people say that you have to script a lot of things, but I think if you know your stuff, the script is here. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, it's the overflow of what you do, right? So much of life. It's easier when you just do it with honesty. It's like you do it enough. And I think permission to be bad. This is not my first podcast. Like
100%. Like a couple of things. Like a CEO friend of mine told me, over prepare so then you can go with the flow. And the other thing I would say, we do have a Slack channel in our Slack thing in our company that's called Bad Ideas Welcome. So anyone in the company can come in and say, hey, I have this idea. But to be honest, like most of those ideas are really good because they fix something that we deal with on the weekly basis.
So I know family's the big call. Man, that is an awesome shot. I'm stoked for you. And I know that is a motivational catalyst in the business world that you're going to experience. That's a gift. The late nights, the crying, it's a gift because it puts it all into perspective. And I'm excited for what your business is going to do too, because it usually, at least for me, I got such clarity of my why that all of a sudden you get over yourself a lot, right? Like your selfishness, the things that you like make excuses for yourself, it's hard to do that. When you got a baby crying, you got to get out of bed. And you kind of get disciplined into this space of how...
I keep on asking people about that. I'm like, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been like doing things. I stay late nights many times. Is this going to be different? And they're like, you're in for a rude awakening. It's like, really? Is it different?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Oh, yeah. It's like when I go to the gym, I don't complain about gravity. Right?
There you go.
Like if
You're in for it.
Oh, that's right. I'm in for it. Like that, I expected that. That's what makes me stronger.
Yeah.
And I think being a parent can be that way. It literally makes you strong. I mean, you know, I heard said your business only grows as much as you do.
Yeah.
Being a parent, that's a leap of growth.
And to be honest, I think a lot of our customers and other people that I deal with, that's their why, even though they're not talking about it.
Oh yeah.
I think most of them are driven by the prosperity of their family and the future well-being of the people around them. And business is just a side thing, collateral thing that you need to do in order to establish that.
It's like a human thing. Familia es todo. ¿Verdad?
Familia es todo.
Familia es todo.